I might as well stream you live,
All
right?
the mics on. I'll be all 5, 7 of them. All 17 of them. That's not it.
You know what it is? You made that post about seeing if they really funny. You done scared them off.
Oh,
You
that's
scared
what it
them
was.
off.
I wanted to see if they was really funny.
Scared them off.
Wow.
Comedians don't like what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Vocabulary slipping. I had to use it all day. I've been talking to children.
But you
Doubt.
can check Josh out on PhillyHotRadio.com. He is actually live on YouTube. Yeah, he is.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
I'm live?
Oh, yeah, you live.
You tell me that.
Oh,
I
you
ain't signed that. That wasn't in the paperwork. My riders at.
Yeah, you all the way live. But I appreciate you coming.
Oh, not a problem. I'm
yeah,
always here, cousin.
yeah, cousin.
Situational cousin.
Situational.
You could copyright that.
Yeah, you might want to copyright that one.
Well, it was different from what I said originally. I like mine, but I'm gonna say mine for surprise people with on the stage.
Okay.
If I see anybody hashtagging situational
cuz.
you're lying.
Situation.
Side
The side piece. You know what? Now, comedy. I did this because, like, I literally, like, of course, I had you on the show. I found out we are sort of kind of cousin. And a lot of them I know, I met, I interviewed before, like Joshua Dennison. I got to watch him in a church, and I'm sitting up here like, I'm thinking he cracking a joke and then he gonna go in the ministry or something, prophesize or something. He straight did a comedy show. I was like, yo, y'all do that here? Y'all can't do that in the church, can you? I was waiting for the cuss words, but he didn't. Cool. I was like, I like him. Okay, got to hang out with comedian Will Wright. Was it like 2 weeks ago? It was like 2 weeks. No, it was like last week. I got to hang out with him. So it was like, okay, he's okay. Kobe, I got to
Wait,
pretty
you
much.
talking about all these people that's not here right now. You don't
It's-
hear nothing about none of them.
No, just a
You
little
wanna be on
history.
Philly Hot? Be here.
You're gonna be here. But
Joshua,
Josh,
Kobe, Will, Chuck.
I
I didn't say, yeah.
I didn't say last name. But you know, I wanted to ask. I don't think I asked this to you before. They had that thing, you know, the big stink with Monique and her role with Hollywood and how everyone on social media ate and called all kinds of names, and now found out tables turned, and I guess we're now looking at Lee Daniels kind of sideways. But Steve Harvey had had an interview with her, and he was saying, I am not doing this, you know, look, Hollywood's my friend, you know, like, yo, we gotta. And she looked at him like, no, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you gotta have some morals and some character and some gump. And now tables turned from Hollywood on him to where he's like, ace that show, ace that show, ace that show. Like, where do you draw the line as a comedian to say, you know what, I'm not going to sell my soul. I'm going to sell my soul to make the paper.
The line is drawn individually for different people. You know, some of us have spiritual foundation, new or old, that will not allow you to be in a position to sell your soul. Some don't have any kind of foundation where the first opportunity that has a little bit of green attached to it or a little bit of pleasure attached to it, that's going to be the point where the soul gets offed. Now, the situation you're talking about with Steve, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been off of social media for about a month now because I realized that I was getting tied up with everybody else's beefs and dramas. Like, I have no clue what you're talking about because I've been like, I feel like if it's positive and it's something that I want to see, it'll find me. I changed my whole Instagram page because the scroll was messing me up. It was just too much stuff on there that wasn't feeding what I wanted to put in my spirit.
Right.
So I'm preparing myself so when they get ready to try to buy my soul, it's going to be too big and heavy for them. They're going to be like, you know what, go ahead, keep that, young man. You worked on that a little bit. That's a quality one right there. That you probably don't even want to sell that. Can we just touch it?
No, but you know what? Is there like now? Oh my gosh! Now I can't think of the child's name. Lonnie Love made a joke. Her side was it was a joke. and a lot of people drug her, found that it wasn't funny. You remember OJ? For those who don't know, the OJ Simpson allegedly killed his wife
Is that a
and
charge?
her.
She was attempted of alleged murder.
Alleged murder. He allegedly killed his wife and her alleged boyfriend stabbed him with a knife. Lonnie Love gets on and made a comment about, I guess he's going to take a stab at it. So now social media is coming at her like, I didn't think that was funny. You know, 2 people lost their lives.
That's why you got to get off social media. Who are these people? I mean, she has the right to have an opinion and make a joke. She's a comedian. Now, some comedians go over the line with it on purpose. You know, she obviously she thought that was funny to her. And keep real with you, some people think that's funny. I think it's funny. It's clever. Who's coming at her?
Social media.
Social media.
Social media to the and then these top radio stations.
Why though?
Because the fact that the family is still Nicole Simpson's family is still mourning, still questioning, still compensation.
I understand that, but
and
that's crazy because that is not the first OJ joke that anybody's heard, and there's been worse, if you will, jokes about that whole situation. So maybe it's her personally, or who knows what the whole story is. Maybe she got history. Lonnie Love been around a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the other side of it, stabbing OJ with the knife, I get that. But it was a YouTube lady that made a comment, and she said at one point in time when comedians got on the stage, nothing was off limits.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
Now everything is sensitive. You can't talk about Muslims. You can't talk about Christianity. You can't talk about gays and lesbians,
Well, the people still talking about them as much as they used to. It's just that now, when you said something that could have offended 100,000 people, those 100,000 people would have never heard it unless it made it to broadcast or network television. Now, when you say something in the confines of an intimate comedy club or a bar or whatever it's recorded, it's disseminated to Twitter, to Instagram. Now, the 100,000 people have all individually seen this one thing that would have pissed them off as a group that they would have never heard about 20 years ago because it happened in a small place like a comedy club. So right now, everything that we say is being picked apart. Personally, I'm more conscious and aware of the things that I say out of my mouth, and it's not because I don't want to offend people. It's because I actually want to give glory to God now that I'm doing comedy with a clear head.
So nothing's off limit.
Nothing's off limits is how you broach the subject. Are you looking to talk about this subject to find the humor and make people be at ease with a certain subject, or to understand a certain subject better while laughing at it, or are you bringing up a certain subject just to get a carnal laugh, and that's the end of it? You don't care how people feel after you said what you said. So there's a balance, Some find the balance, some don't care about the balance, and some go too far on balance and fall all the way off. So
what is considered off the balance?
Off balance?
Yeah. What is it? Where is the joke too far?
When you're dealing with things that involve people's personal pain, for instance, me and anybody I hang around with, for the most part, would never do a rape joke. And we hear comics do rape jokes. That's something that they think is funny, but personally, I understand that that's not the subject that women in particular want to hear about.
Right.
And then on top of that, it's not something that you should be talking about unless that's on your mind. That's another thing. Comedians talk about what's in the recesses of their minds. So I'm suspicious of any comedian that talks about rape or child molestation or try to make things like that funny. Those are just not funny.
Yeah, they're not. Having somebody beat you and rape you and it's really not funny. Actually.
But that's where you go off balance.
But you go off balance.
There is a balance. The point of comedy is to lighten people's load, to make them laugh. And some people, you got comedians with broken spirits. who are going on stage and sharing that broken spirit with everybody else. You know, so it's really not helping them or the audience to talk about things like that. But OJ take a stab at it. That's clever. That's clever. I don't care what you say. That's clever.
It is clever. Like, it really is.
It's not like a whole joke about murder.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think the thing is, people would rather have had take a stab at it from someone else rather than OJ. Because the simple fact that OJ literally had a knife in his hand, or allegedly had a knife in his hand, and you're stabbing.
I mean, the structure of the joke, I can't really
get
into the bones of it. But I mean, who else would fit in that context?
Yeah, but now they coming at her, and depending on where you go on social media, she may or may not lose her job. I don't think
Where she work
so.
for? Talk or
she's The View.
The View.
Yeah. And I got to hang out with her about 2 months ago.
I mean, she gonna lose her job for saying that, and our president ain't gonna lose his job for half the shit he done said.
I grabbed him by the
right.
Yeah.
Right. You shouldn't even never even got the job. You should have made it past the interview with all the stuff he was saying out of his mouth.
And still does.
And still does.
Still does.
They getting on Biden because he an old white man and don't know what to say out of his mouth.
As if he's, some young spring chicken or
Right,
something.
but he been doing this for years.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not justifying. He didn't really say that. He made a comment that was misconstrued by people who are super sensitive. I'm not a super sensitive person. I think it's funny, the comment he made about the white guy not calling him boy. Well, why would he call you boy? You're not even what they was calling boys. You're not even. Maybe he's confused. Maybe he thinks he's black now because he served under Obama. He thinks he's one of us now.
Black.
He forgot.
Yeah, maybe he forgot.
He got black features. You ever look at him?
He got some black features.
Square face.
But what's going on with you?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, we just going to switch subjects? No commercial?
No,
all right, let's go.
No commercial. We're going right into you.
All right. I don't have much to say about me. You have to ask me questions. I don't really walk around and talk about me.
Yeah, you do.
I do not.
Yeah, you got to tell me, like, yo, what's your next event coming up?
I'd have to check the calendar for that. Really, I've been busy. I've been blessed. Been having some shows last week where we were in Redden. A couple days before that, Maryland. So I'm back in Philly. But I'm not talking about the shows. If people want to go to my show, they're going to go online, type in comedianjoshua.com.
Comedian Joshua.
Or go on Instagram and go to @comedianjoshua. I'm not performing at Wells Fargo or nothing. I'll be at Champagne's on Shelton Avenue. If you had to hear that on the radio, God bless you.
I had to hear it on the radio.
But I don't walk around talking about everything I'm doing. I've been blessed to be in positions to give people opportunities to laugh. And that has, in turn, put me in other positions to do film and acting to impart another part of myself to people. So,
mad shout out that you were in a recent play.
Yeah. I saw you at the play thing.
I was there. I was like, okay, the meet and greet. I was like, look at him. I'm like, okay.
Now, I wouldn't have brought that up if you didn't.
Should I get the autograph now or?
Because you just come to the family reunion. I got you. Don't worry about it.
So wait a minute. So how did you get into that?
Rick Watson, the director, writer of that play, directed a play a few months before that called The Bar, written by a childhood friend of mine who's serving life in prison. The childhood friend of mine reached out to me regarding his script that he wrote, and he had heard about me doing entertainment, and he was interested in having me in the play. And he introduced me vicariously to Rick Watson, who I auditioned for and got into The Bar and had a good experience. And then Rick invited me to be back in his next production, which was a really good experience. Had a bigger role, opportunity to work with different and better actors. Some actors were in this first production, so I got exposed to a whole nother segment of Philadelphia entertainment, Philadelphia arts, and even that has led to other opportunities. Just did a short film. But see how he asked me questions, and I get to talking about it because I don't have nobody to prove nothing to.
It's not a thing of proving. It's just, well, you know what? I think accomplishments are something that not to boast or brag, but it's a proud moment. Like I never thought I would be here, which is why I talk about it a lot because I never like the gentleman I had prior to you coming on, he asked me off the grid, like, how did you get? And I'm like the same way I just asked you to come on here, and I'm the original from. So it's like I never thought I never envisioned me doing what I'm doing, like all over the place, and people hit me up. Yesterday, Patrick Bet David, he's worth 70. I had to Google it. He's worth $70 million. So I just playing my game on my phone. Next thing I know, alert comes off, and the young lady hits me up and said, "Are you in Chicago area? And are you free Thursday?" I'm like, "Okay." Read further down. The tickets range from like $900 to $4,000 for the tickets to come see this guy. If I was, she was gonna get me in the door for free. I'm sitting up here like, yo, like, did you say 4,000?
To come see him do what?
He's a YouTube. He's a motivational speaker. He goes around. He tells people how they can not just make money but build their business. How Microsoft, people aren't paying attention between Amazon and Apple. That Microsoft is starting to be one of the third largest corporations, but we're focused on the other ones. But it's like just the fact that we're social media friends. Never even thought about that man until she hit me up. Now, but it was interesting when we linked up. Everyone kept DMing me, like, how do you know this man? Have you ever met this man? I'm sitting up here like, why?
I can't believe.
Yeah, with no him. I'm like, wow.
That's one of the reasons why I don't talk much about what I'm doing, because I know that number one, some of the stuff is too big for people's perception.
Yeah.
And then number two, I have goals and actual desires that are bigger than what's God giving me right now. So I'm grateful, and I accept what's happening now with understanding that there's something later that I'm gonna be real excited. I'm gonna call you, Mike. Guess what I just did? But right now, it's just like, I'm in the prep stage, in the enlightening myself stage, and just getting closer to God and understanding that there's something that He wants me to do.
Isn't it beautiful?
And these little steps are part of it.
Yeah,
but,
these little steps.
It's
leading to a bigger picture.
Leading to a bigger picture.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what I'm doing, you kind of gotta ask me, because other than that, I'm just doing it because I know that this is the walk I've got to take.
It's kind of strenuous. It's hard, tedious at times, challenging, overwhelming. It's a lot. Your emotions are like a roller coaster ride. It's like you get on, you're like, yes, anxious, and then when it's like, oh, okay, oh, it's like, oh, am I right here? So I don't do roller coasters, but I see the expressions and I hear people talking about it, and it's like a thrill. It's like, wow, I'm in here. I'm strapped in, but I'm ready. It's like, okay.
Same thing, perform comedy. We get people that will say, I don't know how you do that, or you must have the biggest cojones. And the size of your cojones got nothing to do with walking on stage. If they too big, you might not be able to walk up there. That's about it.
How did you get started in comedy?
We discussed this. Well, I guess nobody listening was listening the first time. My start in comedy is just really, really is deeper than waking up one day and saying I wanted to do comedy. I always had healing energy about me, and if you let people who don't know anything tell you healing energy only means that you're supposed to be a doctor. And I knew I wasn't supposed to be a doctor growing up. I didn't know what I was supposed to be. I just knew that I had a knack for speaking to people and them paying attention. And then later on, I came to understand that they weren't laughing at me; they were laughing because of me. And as a youth, you don't understand that. You want to fight everybody who laughs, especially, when your confidence is low for any reason. If people laugh, you don't get it. And one day, the age of 25, I met a person at the restaurant I was working at who basically enlightened me to the fact that I was funny, and it wasn't deeper than that. It was just like, you're funny. You need to go try out comedy, and the rest is history, if you will. It's still something to be made. Is this a video or a picture? Okay, it's a picture. All right. But yeah, I previously had a feeling to do it, but some of the lifestyle choices I was making at the time prevented that, and actually took me away from the opportunity to do it. And they say when something's for you, when God has something for you or wants something for you, can nobody stop it?
No.
Not the police, not the prisons,
Nope.
not
Nothing.
these thoughts. None of it can stop what's for you. And I've been doing it 12 years, and I've never felt like I'm doing the wrong thing, even when there was no laughter and drama in the background. There's always been like next show tomorrow or the next show down the street.
Let me ask you this, because I throw my little side jokes. I don't think they're worth me but then again, I've never taken the time to like really sit down and say, maybe I could, because Roseanne Barr thought she was sort of funny and took a stab at it. Her husband said no, and eventually that led to her being a success, divorced. But you get up on the stage, do you get like butterflies in the stomach? You get little antsy, anxiety, like?
No, there's no room for that. I mean, if anything, the butterflies is anxiety comes in the 5 minutes before you go on stage, while you're waiting for the last person to finish and the host to bring you up. And that's a moment where I personally go and just have a small conversation with God, just to help me use that for energy on stage, and whatever fear or consternation I'm feeling about being in this moment right now usually just goes away.
How about those moments when you, because I went to I'm not going to name drop, I went to the comedy show, and it's like the guy almost forgot what he was getting ready, and you improvise, and it's like, okay, some will catch on, some don't, but how do you, if you've ever bombed, how do you come back from that when people are like heckling you?
You just do. There's really, it's internal. There's really no there's no way to explain it. Some are gonna fold and some are gonna come back. Fortunately, I was raised in comedy to have material, to have something to say. You're mostly going to get a heckler when you up there BS, don't have nothing to say, you're trying to pick on people, you're not really making people laugh. Well, guess what? There's somebody in the audience who think they funny who going to say something to you. Now, if you're out there doing what you're supposed to do, and somebody mess with you even then, well, that's their spirit, being jealous or whatever they're experiencing by you doing what you do in a positive manner. They got to step on that, or they got to steal the limelight. Those kind of people, they're out here. Most of the time, they're afraid to say anything. Like I said, I've been blessed. I haven't really had a heckler in a long time. I've had people say weird things to me on stage. I've had people threaten me on stage. But I had, in hindsight, I had to realize that I carry a light, and anybody with a light will attract those who want the light or they want to put it out.
Yeah, is that thing called it?
I guess I've been told that from people in Hollywood. So, I don't wear that on my shirt or nothing, but it's something that's there that people with good intentions will see, and people with nothing going on and bad intentions will see.
Oh.
And both people can do something with it. Positive people can enhance your life. Negative people can steal it or put it out. So that's what a heckler is to me. I don't go out there looking for them.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't go looking for them either, but they're out there.
Yeah, they're out there.
One of the YouTube lady, she said that she no longer calls them her haters. She calls them her PR people.
Okay.
Then
Who said that?
they're her PR people. So it's like, okay, go ahead. I think I'll use that one because hey, who else could promote me better than my haters? You always got my name out there, you
Yeah,
know,
but
and
that's
not so much in a bad way, but you always out there putting what I'm doing out there. You making me relevant, good or bad. You making me relevant, you know.
They're not talking about you. You ain't doing nothing right.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm not. Kevin Hart said it right. You ain't got what at least seven. Was it 10 haters or 7 haters a day? You ain't doing your job. I'm hoping I have every day. I'm pissing somebody off to be my hater, but it's not my goal in life.
Yeah, I would say that's personal perspective. That's people with haters, or making an excuse or justifying it to themselves why they got haters. You know.
Yeah.
Now, if Kevin Hart didn't have anybody saying negative anything about him,
Oh, I'm sorry, not Kevin Hart. Cat Williams. Cat Williams. Yeah, Cat Williams said it. You ain't got at least 7 haters a day. You ain't doing your job. And I don't want haters. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I want people that I can inspire and encourage, you know, around me. But of course, this is in the real world. I have them. We all have them.
well,
Truth be told.
there's a lot of mental illnesses that manifest themselves as
Other ways.
hate and envy. You know.
Yeah.
Jealousy, grain of salt on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it is. You're doing what makes you happy and succeeding at it. You know, so who is somebody else to come along and try to put a damper on that?
Yeah, but we do that.
Why?
Yeah. Why?
It's an illness.
Wow.
It's an illness. People don't have any foundation of their own. So they're going to look at you and see what you're standing on. How did she get that tall? Why? How did she get in these positions? You know, they can't figure it out when there's something you're doing correctly that allows these things to come into your life.
I'm glad you said that because I can never understand how a lot of things positive was happening and I never sought them out, never knocked on the door or pursued them. And it was like, wow, like my phone literally went off today, and I'm sitting up here like, yo, guy, I was in the back and I like sort of kind of broke down quietly, of course. But it's like I really couldn't believe. Well, I shouldn't say I really couldn't, because when it's God, why wouldn't you? But it's just a lot that was going on. It's like, wow, you really did that, and I didn't even ask. But I guess internally in my spirit,
And you had to clear a way. You must have cleared the way. You know,
Yeah.
I know that I blocked a lot of my blessings.
yeah, I was walking today, and I'm like, see something. I'm like, man, one of these days I'm gonna stop being broke. And I caught myself. I was like, no, I'm not broke. I'm not broke. Wrong choice of words.
I had money.
I just don't
I just
have.
ain't collected yet.
I don't have. Yeah.
I had this
So
conversation with myself.
I had to learn to redirect the words, because those words I put out there, even if no one believes in God, eventually they come back to you, and you're always sitting around talking about why I don't always have this, rather than focus on all the things you do have. You never pay attention to the positive because you're always focusing on the negative.
Absolutely.
So,
And you
dang,
create
did we come
your
on
own
here to talk
reality.
about comedy? We in here talking about.
Look, listen. You know what? I've been doing comedy 12 years, and with the changes that I'm going through now, if I don't end up a comedian, I'd be happy. You know, I feel like my purpose is to say the things that fall out of my mouth, not because I wrote them or I practiced them. They just fall out of my mouth, and that's a connection that I'm having now. So if nobody laughs at anything I say ever again the rest of my life, I'll be fine with it, as long as I'm saying what God want me to say.
There was a gentleman I had known years ago, and his mother had said that what happened was he wanted to be a comedian. Now, he didn't pursue that, but his thing was, and his way of thinking was, to be a comedian was medicine for people. Get them to laugh, get them to not worry about their troubles, their worries. And I wanted to know, like, for you, like, how do you see yourself injecting it into others? Is that like a form of medicine?
Absolutely. Like I mentioned about, having healing energy as a kid. You know, my mother is really up on, the metaphysics. I don't know if that's the right term I'm using, but I was told this, and I've seen it in action. So to be in position now where me speaking causes people to feel better, I see the connection. We all know that laughter is the best medicine, but you have experiences. I'll give you an example. I had an experience in Comedy Works Bristol, up 95 in Bristol, PA. I perform there maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Lady recovering from leukemia came up to me after the show and just gave me some real insight on how my performance helped her. And I didn't think much of it at the time, but a couple of days later, I was telling the story to somebody else, and it hit me that, I'm doing something here that's bigger than what I think I'm doing. To walk into a room full of people and not know what they're experiencing or what they have experienced previous to being in your presence, to all of a sudden create the experience of laughter is, it's a gift. It's a skill, but it's a gift as well. So if I'm healing people, then great. That's right along the lines of what I'm here to do.
And let me ask you this, because, all of us think we all have that talent for whatever it is. We all think we're gifted. There's somebody who thinks, because I crack a couple of jokes and a few people laugh, I'm it. What do you say to somebody who thinks they have it, not really sure they have it, because you have it?
Well, I mean,
but how do you?
That person, so I understand that. And for the person who's unsure of what they have, but they know there's something there, the next thing to do is go and do it. To immerse yourself in it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I always made people laugh somehow, some way, whether I wanted to or not. But until I got into the comedy club, on the stage, in front of people, around other real comedians, that I realized, okay, there's more to it than just having something. You got to put time in. You got to get your notebook out. You got to study. You got to practice. You got to work for free. You got to work for less than free. There's a lot of things you have to do that are going to sharpen this ability or skill that you think you have. And because you think you have it, you do.
Because you think you have it, you do. Let me ask you this before we close out. Who would you like to stand on a stage and work side by side with?
Michael Jr.
Who's Michael Jr.?
Exactly. Michael Jr. Look him up.
Michael Jr.
I'm really a big fan. Michael Jr. is a comedian that I saw years ago on Last Comic Standing or something like that. Thought he was funny, didn't really pay him too much mind. And recently I realized that the reason I didn't pay him too much mind is because he wasn't giving me that lowbrow comedy that everybody else seems to do so well. And Michael Jr. does, it's not gospel comedy, it's comedy with the gospel in it.
Got you.
Somehow, some way,
it's incorporated. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of jokes and a lot of stories that are funny that tie back to some overriding lesson. And I'm a big fan of Michael Jr.
Yeah, I see Michael Jr. Okay, so you have a show coming up?
Yeah, I do. Actually, Sunday going to be at Champagne's on Shelton or Germantown, Germantown and Shelton, right next to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm over there with Stax Magnificent and you, the funny man, you Brown. 2 cats I've been doing comedy with for a long time. I think this is going to be a really good show. I don't know what to say more than that.
What time is it?
That show is probably 8 o'clock.
8?
No, don't commit me to that. I have to look at the flyer. I always check the day of the show just to make sure it's not in the afternoon.
So it is 22 East Chester Avenue, Philadelphia?
Where are you at?
Oh, I'm sorry, 22 East Shelton Avenue.
Yeah, see?
Woo, Shelton. Will help to have my glasses on, right?
Just go on my Facebook page, Joshua KG. I'm on Instagram as Comedian Joshua. And my website is comedianjoshua.com. You'll be able to find any information you want about me.
That's what I'm talking about. But before you leave, Mr. Joshua, let me ask you this one. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm back. I need you to drop something positive
Okay.
for my audience.
Okay. Oh, like right now,
Like-
not after commercial.
Like,
Give me a chance to think about it. I
Like,
mean, most
like-
of my thoughts are positive, but I gotta pick which one. Jeez.
like right now.
Do what you love. Now I gotta think about what I gave him last time, so I don't give him the same darn positivity. What was a year ago?
Was it a year ago? Gee.
Possibly.
Yeah. I know. Trying to get something off the top of your head.
Because there's so much positivity swimming around in here right now.
Yeah.
It'll blow your mind. Just trying to
know.
figure out the right one. What is God telling me to tell these people right now? Whatever you do it to the fullest of your ability. But by any means, do not try to succeed at anything independent of God.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
Independent of God. Yeah, because wow, that's a Jerry episode. But yeah, I'm literally, without giving too much, I had to have a nice long talk with God. No cameras, no lights, no nothing. And it was like, it's sad that it took me this long to get here. I'm glad I'm here. I just wish everything I knew now, I didn't take for granted in my younger years. I'm here. I'm appreciative, but I just wish I had done it earlier because, I don't want to preach or be preachy on here, but it's just amazing the things that I'm seeing God, like literally, I didn't even ask for this thing, but I guess because I spoke it earlier,
And you reached a point where you were ready to receive.
And I was ready to, and I'm like, I sit back and I'm like, wow, I'm not doing a lot of things like you're doing, the plays, the comedy, the this, the that, but I'm interacting, I'm being connected with people who are, and it's like, wow, yes.
Something's happening
Yes. Something
independent of you.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
independent of me. And when you incorporate God,
Absolutely.
it's a beautiful
thing.
It's a beautiful
and
thing.
everything that you went through before you got to this point was preparing you, was setting you up to be the person you are, to accept what you
Didn't know
right
it.
now.
Didn't know it.
I didn't know it either.
Yeah.
I look at stuff now, and there's like clear instructions in the Bible, for instance. There's clear instructions on what not to do as a young black man in Philadelphia.
Ooh.
And if I would have read it and paid attention to it at the age of 15, 16, I'd have kept myself out of a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
However, if I would have done that, I would have been, not to, disparage anybody who is one of these, but I would have been the Bible dork who
Yeah.
didn't live or experience
Yeah.
anything. So now when I talk to people, it's empty, because
Yeah.
you ain't been through none of this. What are you talking about?
Gee, I can't get the word. It's like if I didn't do the wrong, I wouldn't be here. And and I get it. I'm not condoning people doing wrong, but it takes that wrong just to get you on the right path.
Right.
And it's kind of sad that you just can't go to the right path. But here's the thing. If I didn't do the wrong, I wouldn't be able to tell somebody who is doing what I used to do to say, hey, I've been there, done that. You don't want to do this, and this is why. And here's your outcome. Well, your outcome may not be exactly as mine, but it's going to be a positive outcome. And
You're better off with a shady background for some reason, because if you've been to the dark side,
Yeah.
once you see the light,
Yeah,
you'll
it's
never
like, I don't
want to
go. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want
And
to.
if all you had was light all your life,
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
of darkness, you're like, oh, what's back there? Next thing you know,
I've been there, and I literally tell. I mean, this is why I always put on Facebook to stay focused.
Yeah.
And I do. I get it. I get this distractions, the DMs, the inboxes, the guys, the phone calls, the this, the that, and I'm like, as tempting as it is, regardless of what it is, I've been there. And it hurts me to know that I've been there. And I don't know what's ahead. I know what it was like to be back there. I know the good, the bad, but I can't go back. I really can't.
that's because something inside you changed.
Yeah, something inside of me changed. Because I mean, here's the thing: if you're hurting now, if you're literally in a situation where you're hurting, relationships, children, your job, whatever it is, and you're hurting, and you're asking God to help you, and He helps you, and you go back, it's like, wow. So he got you out of that for that. But the thing is to learn from it, to not go back, because the pain is what said, for me, is what says I can't go back. It was that pain. Don't put your finger in that outlet. Why? Don't put your finger. And then when you do it, it's like, okay, do I say I told you so?
Right.
Or
But
no.
sometimes things are pleasurable, and you know that you can't go back. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it's not always
Yeah.
pain.
It's not always pain, but yeah, it is pleasurable. But
Which
either,
can lead to pain.
but either way, you know it's not good for you.
Right.
And that's the thing. Even though I know it's not good for me, because I know if I sat up there and ate a whole pizza and a whole gallon of ice cream, even though it's good, I'm gonna get sick. And then, just like with life, even though it's good for you and it's,
It tastes good to you.
yeah, it tastes good to you. It's not good for you. At the end, it's not good for you.
Man.
But yeah, so we gotta check you out.
Yeah, please.
Champagne, 22 East, Shelton Avenue. We don't know about the time, but you always go on his social media sites and you can find that out all for yourself.
Appreciate it.
So, yeah, appreciate it. I appreciate you coming out here and giving up your time.
Hey, not a problem. Anything for my cuz.
Cause you know what? I remember when I had one of my events in Philly. My first outreach in Philly. I left Delaware and came to Philly and had one. And on a good day in South Philly, I lie to you not, you cannot go through the area I was at and not elude people. The day I decided to set up and feed everyone there, got permission from the McDonald's owner and everything to utilize the back, no one would, no. I went around prior, handing out the flyers, went to the buildings, letting them know free food. I had breakfast and I cooked it, went to Chester, got the catered food, brought it back. Couldn't find nobody. Me and my mom, I had a DJ, I had a celebrity host, everything set up. It was all free. We went around riding around, telling people it's free food. No one. Celebrity host Fred Green comes, and I was like on the verge of crying. And he said the most important people that were supposed to be here are here. The most important person that's supposed to be here, Joshua, is here.
I appreciate that.
So
Y'all hear that? Will, other Joshua, Kobe Jack, you, Cheese, who else? Chuck, you,
You,
of
me.
the last name we won't say. Rest of y'all wasn't supposed to be here.
Wasn't supposed to be here, but you was here.
I appreciate
And that's
it.
all that matters.
Oh,
and I
listen,
so
anytime you
appreciate you coming out here. But we're going to take a pause for the calls now. I'm going to take a commercial break.
All
right. And then I'm going to come back. And then, I don't know. But thank you so much.